will be a nail in Assad's coffin. The Syria issue came into focus too in a meeting between President Putin and the Prime Minister of Washington's closest ally, Great Britain. Laura Smith followed that side of the story today and their talks in London.
It was quite important that this came to light about Obama having signed this order to authorise a secret kind of CIA and agency support for the rebels who are trying to oust President Assad in Syria. That came to light just before the meeting between Putin and Cameron. It won't have made that meeting any easier at all. Of course, what Obama's order represents is foreign intervention in Syria, and it is taking sides in Syria. And those are two things that President Putin, as we know, is vehemently opposed to. Of course, the UK and Russia really represent the polar opposites in the two sides of this argument. The UK represents a sort of, much as the US does, a move towards UN Security Council resolutions, taking sides against President Assad, trying to force President Assad to step down, whereas on the completely other side of the equation, Russia represents a drive towards diplomacy and a not taking of sides in this issue. And of course, this is not the only issue upon which Russia and Britain are poles apart, but it is certainly the most important issue at the moment. And we understand, in fact, that added to other issues that Russo-British relations have had in the past, this is now hampering economic relations between the two countries, which might go some way towards solving the problem, because, of course, as we all know, money talks in a way that politics potentially doesn't. And of course, with these opposing views, it is a worry that diplomacy as a part of solving the Syria conflict may be slowly dying as this process takes place.
Anti-war activist Brian Becker says America's strategy on Syria has never been towards diplomacy.
Well, the United States military and intelligence services are, as we know now from the U.S. government admission, been coordinating through Turkey, through a U.S. military air base. These are all, Turkey is a NATO country. The military operations for the so-called Free Syrian Army, the Syrian so-called revolutionaries. And it's clear now that this is not a shift in terms of U.S. strategy. It doesn't represent any kind of alteration. All that it does is reveal that the diplomacy, the so-called diplomacy, the so-called looking for a negotiated settlement is a fraud, that the diplomacy is in fact a form of perjury, that the reality is that the U.S. government, the Obama administration with the Pentagon and the CIA have been neck deep coordinating the military operations to overthrow a sovereign government in Syria.
If you get a minute to check out RT.com as well. If you think the camera never lies, think again. On our website, take a close look at this.